Hello, everyone. Welcome to this LEADS Thematic Webinar. We're very happy to have you here, and we're very happy to opening up our topic group on program design and joint accreditation to audience to discuss best practices and how we have handled the topic so far. Additionally, we're very happy that we're having with us Alina and Katerina, who will present the best practices from their own projects, CASTIEL 2 and Europe for HPC. My name is Evgenia Kypriotis, and I'm representing the LEADS project here, but we're very happy to having also Asha Shatler from the DigiConnect Policy Unit, who will attend our meeting out of this interest for this super hot topic, as it seems, of accreditation in Europe. We will start right away. I just wanted to tell you that we have 4 presentations of separate good practices from different projects, and then we have allocated some time from a Q&A session. So we will be watching Q&A that is provided by Zoom, and we will be happy to have an open discussion once the presentations have ended. So thank you very much again for joining, and I will pass the floor to Asha to say a greeting. Hello, Asha.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. So I'm Asya Sattler. I work for DigiConnect, and in DigiConnect we are responsible for the Digital Europe program, and in my unit we are managing the topics related to advanced digital skills, and here we are funding also topic specialized educational programs in key capacity areas. So we are funding bachelor's and master's like in AI, cybersecurity, blockchain, IoT, virtual world, and so on, and also programs for the acquisition of advanced digital skills in specific sector like healthcare, business, and so on. And for our projects, we leave it open for the project to decide if they want to choose a single degree programs or a double or a joint degree. But until now, we have like 20 projects offering these programs, and more than half of them opt for the option of the joint degree. So there is a lot of, it's really interesting, this joint degree. And in the year 2024, for the European Commission, one of the key priority is the way towards the joint European degree. So under the European Strategy for University, there are like 4 flagship initiatives, and one of them is to examine options and necessary steps toward a joint European degree. So a joint degree based on common European criteria. And there was a study done in 2020 of the Erasmus Mundus actions under the Erasmus Plus. And only like 1/3 of the project programs opt for the joint degree, and the main obstacle there was identified as a lack of coherence between national legislation and so the incompatible national administration laws and legislations. So therefore, in the beginning of 2024, the Commission called for the evidence for the initiative for a blueprint for a future joint European degree, which will be accompanied by 2 recommendations, one on the quality assurance and one on tracking academic careers in the higher education. So with this initiative, the Commission would like to support member states by fostering and facilitating transnational cooperation in the field of higher education, of course, while respecting their overall responsibilities for their educational systems. So this initiative will tackle the main common challenges the member states are facing, which is setting up joint transnational educational programs, quality assurance and recognition of processes, and the creation of attractive and flexible career pathways in the higher education. So there is a lot of things going on in this field in Europe in 2024. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Asha. And I think we are good to continue with the presentations. We will start with Janet Smithson, who will present the best practices in the specialized project ManagiDITH. Janet?
Yeah, I'm just sharing my screen.
Yes,
Okay.
go ahead.
Is that showing nicely for people?
It's not showing at all, actually.
Sorry.
No worries.
Okay, let's try that one. Is that showing now?
Yes.
Sorry, we did practice this just before the session, but still.
Yes, no worries. Would you like to? Great. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here we are. So my name's Janet Smithson and I'm working for University in Lisbon. And I'm going to tell you about our ManagiDITH project. So it's a 4-year project that we started it in January last year, so just over a year ago. And the aim is to set up an international master's program for managing the digital transformation of the health sector, ManagiDITH. And we've got 4 countries involved as partners. So we've got Laurea University in Finland, Gustave Eiffel in France, in Paris, Alpha University in Greece, in Thessaloniki, and ISHTE in Portugal. And what the project's meant to be, here on the right is the picture we put in our proposal. So things have changed a bit since then, but not massively. So we've got 3 main components: so health sector skills, digital sector skills, and societal skills. And students have a choice of 10 curricular units, so that's courses. So some are mandatory and some are optional, and they have to work through these 10 units and a dissertation. And there's 2 possible branches. They can specialize in data science or interoperability. And all of this is going to be online with optional placements in summer schools. And there's innovative pedagogic ideas about learning and assessment. We don't really have time for that today, but we've got a lot on that. So this is the final program design that we have finalized 3 or 4 times in the last 3 months now. So this one is absolutely the final. And we're going to start in September 2024. And this is the design of the whole project. I'm going to move on a little bit quickly because we're going to talk mostly about the accreditation process here. So it's being developed as one combined program. And this is obviously the point of this webinar. And as the previous speaker said, there's no international or EU-wide accreditation process. So we've got 4 higher education institutions in 4 countries, and each of those had to go through separate national accreditation procedures to get the program accredited. So we've been spending a lot of time over the last year developing a joint accreditation package which can cope with all 4 different countries' requirements and still be a common strategy. So this is a list of what we've done really in the last year. So this is our deadlines and activities. I thought it was quite useful to put this in to show what we actually had to try and do to get these deadlines. So we started off last spring. The project started in January, and by April we had to have all national regulations and details received so that we could set up a plan for how we were going to meet them. And then ISHTE, as the lead work package leader for this accreditation process, we sent curricular unity template guidelines and accreditation frameworks. So we sent out everyone guidelines in what to do. And then each country had to work and provide details of someone for each curricular unity. We had 20 curricular unities at that point. And then we also made life harder for ourselves last spring by not just trying to set up our courses, but we wanted to really be state of the art. So we had a national skills need research project going on where we had focus groups and interviews in different countries. So we were trying to make it really state of the art. So we really added to our workload there because we wanted the masters to be new, not just curricular in the way that people were expecting, but something new and innovative. So we put a lot of work into that. And then ISCTE was the first place with accreditation at 30th of June. So we had to work to that. So we had to have everything ready for ISCTE. LARIA had an accreditation deadline in August, and ALF and Gustav Eiffel had accreditation processes in the autumn. So, and you can see we've got accreditation approved in LARIA and ISCTE already. So that's the sort of timeline we've been working to. So I think one of the key things I was asked to talk about here is the challenges encountered. So we have lots of those. I could have talked about this for an hour. So one of the challenges, the one already highlighted, there aren't international or European guidelines. So there's no way of knowing how to do this, and there's no template for good practice. So our program design is completed, but it took an awful lot of work and we had to keep revising it. So our final version we had in June for accreditation, but by September that was shown to be unworkable in other institutions. And then by December again, and then even a few weeks ago, we had to revise it again. So it's been very difficult to get a final program design that is acceptable to 4 different accreditation bodies. So the accreditation is very slow in different countries, and so not just different process, but slow. So we completed it in Portugal, we submitted in June, and it was agreed in December or January. In LARIA, it went in August and was agreed by October, which did help because Portugal was happy to speed things through when they knew that Finland had approved it. It's still ongoing in Greece. And Gustav Eiffel, I think my next point is about them. And Gustav Eiffel basically couldn't stay in the programme as a full partner at this point. So just in January last month, they had to change from being a full partner delivering the programme to being an associate partner. So at this point, we had to totally revamp the project and programme structure again to make it suitable for 3 universities to deliver, not 4. And we were massively ambitious in our time frame. Originally, the masters was supposed to start in March last spring. In fact, before that, I think it was going to start in March 2023. No, September 2023, then March, and now September 24. And we are scrambling to be ready for that time frame. So it's taking a lot of time. And now I've got a slide. Eugenia sent this innovative solution, she said, and I'm not sure how innovative we are, but basically we had to find solutions. So I've got 4 of the main problems on this slide. So one problem is all these different accreditation systems. So our solution was to look at the templates or the forms from the 4 countries and use the one with the country that needed the most detail, and that happened to be Portugal in this case. So Portugal had the most detailed form that was needed for accreditation, so all the countries had to work to that form, even though in Finland and France they didn't need as much information. Another problem, France has a totally different credit system for master's programs, so the number of credits for our masters, I think it's 30 credits or something, it was impossible in France. So they proposed that they register the program as a diploma, not a master's, just in France. So actually, France now is no longer offering the masters for other reasons, so they don't need accreditation. So that problem's been solved in a different way. Another problem in Finland, LARIA, all master's students in their university have to have 2 years relevant work experience. And this isn't expected elsewhere, and it's seen as inappropriate to expect new graduates to have that in other countries. So we've had to have an additional requirement for students who will be registered at LARIA, which is complicated for the admissions process that we're just starting, because some students have that, some don't, and some will need it and some won't. So we haven't quite solved that. Another problem in Greece at the moment, they're going through accreditation and there's a last minute requirement to have equal credits in each semester. So even last month, well, this month, we had to rework the program design again to change the courses around so that the credits are matching in each semester. So we have to keep tweaking retrospectively, really, at what we've got as new issues come up. So there's a couple of slides on achievements. I like this diagram. This came from Larry, colleagues. But one thing we've tried to do is work together to develop something new. So not just worry about the accreditation, but also try and do something that is innovative. So our skills need forecasting exercise that looked at key trends, challenges, opportunities. We're trying quite hard to feed this into a clear interdisciplinary theoretical framework that we're using in our program design and beyond the project. And I think this is my last slide, more or less, the positive outcomes of joint accreditation. So the idea is we have now developed a fully international master's program that draws on perspectives and experiences from 4 very different European countries. So they have very different societies, also very different healthcare systems, very different ways of providing services. So that is going to really benefit hugely. The students taking part are going to learn an awful lot. A fully online European master's program, which is available for suitably qualified applicants from all 27 EU countries, and it's going to be free for the first 2 years. We've developed an extensive teacher training program. So teachers, every month or so, teachers go to a different institution in a different country, and they collaboratively develop the program content. So in 2 weeks' time, they're all going to be meeting up in Helsinki. So there's a lot of teacher training involved. And also longer term, we're developing a template for further joint master's programs. So we're hoping that this won't be the only masters that we are going to develop under our umbrella. We're hoping that there's more, that we will use the same platform, systems and methods. And outputs, because we've been going for a year or so, we had an awful lot of deliverables in the first year, which was probably a mistake because we had to spend a lot of time writing them. But it does mean we've got all these different reports and strategies published that you can download from the project website. But I have to say they all get out of date quite quickly because we have to keep changing it. Even after publishing our deliverables, we have to keep revising things. So we have to do reports and then we're changing it anyway, but that's how it is. So lessons learned. We've learned that integrating different cultural perspectives on education is quite a big deal. Even within Europe, there's huge cultural differences in curriculum, teaching methods and expectations. Accreditation systems and expectations are massively different. And some national institutional requirements are very hard to overcome. So with the French requirements, we just didn't really manage in the end. And part of the reason was different expectations. We're just about to open our admissions platform, and this is going to really highlight some of the differences in student expectations around admissions and what a course is. So that's going to be a very important thing, and we're going to have to keep revising and adjusting and listing on that one. And we are finding that the good working partnerships between institutions are what takes us through this, because there are a lot of differences and challenges. So developing those good partnerships does help to actually make the project work. So what we're doing now, we're finalising accreditation in Greece. We're opening the admissions platform this week, we hope. So it does keep getting delayed, partly because we had to rework the whole project with a partner moving, partly because of technical testing issues, partly because of worries about GDPR and confidentiality. We have to really be very careful. Then we're going to be recruiting students, selecting, teacher training, and starting the programme. And yeah, that's my presentation over. We're taking questions and comments at the end, I think.
Yes, that's right. Thank you very, very much, Janet. That was a very complete idea of what is happening and how you have handled accreditation and program design in ManageDITH. Thank you very much. In the meanwhile, Oscar also has joined because he had some technical issues. Oscar, hello. I don't know if you would like to send some greetings.
Hello, good morning,
Hello,
everyone,
Oscar.
and sorry for my delay in the connection. It has been due to my computer crashed. I don't know how it happened. So, please be welcome today. I'm very glad to take part in this very interesting seminar, which at the end of the day, it's tackling a very important topic for both for the agency and for DigiConnect, because then accreditation is a recurrent topic. So I'm really very glad to listen from you and to take out of the most from this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar. You have just completed the presentation of Janet's on ManageDITH, and we are ready to continue with Simona, another specialized project, who will present how they have handled program design and accreditation in MERIT project. Simona, we can see your screen. Thank you.
So, hello. So as it was mentioned, I'm Simona from Project MERIT, and basically MERIT is some kind of abbreviation from the Master of Science in Smart, Secure, Interconnected Systems. And actually we have a completely different approach. Like in our case, we as a project are composed of 10 partners from 5 different countries. And additionally, why I like this slide to show, like, we have partners, and the partners are not only the higher education institute, research center, and SMEs. We also have digital innovation hubs, because the idea which is behind our study program and the consortium, we have not a joint accreditation, but we are more or less leaning on joint efforts on different study programs, but linking the students, linking as many different partners as possible, and giving the students international experience at home, sometimes mobile, but just like building a community, even without the joint accreditation. So they won't get a joint diploma, but they will belong to the MERIT community and will have different collaboration opportunities. So if I would go deeper, so as I mentioned, we don't have one joint study program. We have actually 5 of them. So the idea was like, we will have 4 new study programs, and 1 study program was updated. And actually, like, also, as you see, most of our higher education institutions have 1 study program, 1 university has 2 study programs, but also it was justified. I will explain the idea why it happened like this. And the main idea, because I was mentioning, like, our project is smart, secure, interconnected, so we are leaning into 3 different areas, like artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and Internet of Things. And automatically, based on the study programs which we have a little bit different profiles of those study programs. So, for example, some of them are only in artificial intelligence. Some are in between of 2 of them. Some have, I don't know, some kind of, even if I remember correctly, 4 specializations in the same study program to give the opportunity to be more oriented on the healthcare, public administration, things like this. So this is why, like, it's strange, because I'm talking about joint accreditation, because we have a lot of study programs. But the idea is, like, at least from our point of view, even when we were writing the proposal, was like, not just because the requirements are very different in different countries, maybe it could be managed because we know some good practices, but the idea was to have flexibility and sustainability after the project, which I will try also to explain why we did something like this. So based on the template talking about the program design, so one of the things which we included into our study program design was a little bit different structure. Usually what we see, it's like in parallel, students are having multiple courses, and in the end, usually we call it session, they have the exams of all of them. So at least in Lithuania, we have a semester length from 16 to 20 weeks, and it's similar in most of the countries which we are facing, because we are pre-Baltic states and Spain. So the requirements are similar. There are some kind of changes when we are starting the semester, when we are leaving, something like this, but it's manageable. But we switched into a little bit different structure, like we will have short courses, 1 month usually the duration will be, and it will be in sequence. It's not something unique. We have practices like this, but the idea behind it was like, maybe it's related to the project which you are doing, like, with this study program and structure like this, we will be able to give short-term courses. for some SME employees, something like this, because it's easier to dedicate 1 month for one course, to be fully dedicated to the course, rather than to dedicate, I don't know, half of the year studying one course or multiple of those. So not in all study programs, in probably 1 or maybe 2 in those of those 5, we have similar structure like this. Sometimes there are some variations. For example, we have 2 courses at the same time, but the idea is just to have some kind of short courses, one after another, rather than having a parallel list of courses at the same time. So talking now about the joint accreditation, why we selected a different approach. So the idea was like, if we will have joint programs, so it should be some kind of a wide and matching all countries' needs and European needs. And it's sometimes difficult to achieve it, like just taking into account the specifics of the country, something like this. So what we did even before the proposal, we analyzed what are the trends, global trends, what are the demand of advanced digital skills, something like this. So this is how we defined those 3 areas. And the next step was the analysis of regional requirements, needs, trends, and so on. So basically what we did, we looked into the strategies, into SMEs needs, like what kind of employees are needed. And also we analyzed what kind of study programs already exist. It's like, for us, it looked like if we have a very good master study program in cybersecurity, why should we create another with, for example, 1/3 of the master studies also in cybersecurity? So this is how we tried just to align with what exists, what are the needs, and automatically, like, okay, we took it into account, created those study programs. And the next step, which is like analog to our joint accreditation, was implementing those joint activities. So basically what was happening, we were trying to align those study programs by building students' competency portfolios. So basically, I will explain about it a little bit later. Like, we are mapping all the courses, what kind of topics, competences they have, automatically what kind of topics, competences students will have. So this allows us to map those study programs, to understand what is the coverage, how one student could be transferred to another university in those study programs, something like this. Another option which we are dealing mostly now, like, is the integration of collaborative online international learning, the COIL. So the idea is like in our courses, because it will be not online, it will be mostly in place with some online activities. So COIL also will be one of the activities when the teacher from another institution is teaching to, for example, our study program. And the idea is like, why are those COIL? Like, because it's like 2-directional. Sometimes, for example, one university will be teaching for another university, not just to the students, but like the classes will be joined. So we see it as additional value, because the students will experience like, yeah, both for or 3 of the study program students will be like learning in the same class for several lectures. Like, it's not a full course, it's just several lectures in most of the courses which we have. And also the third perspective is like joint hands-on events. The idea was like every year we will have hackathon type event, which will be also gathering all 4 university students into like some kind of a joint activities. And the idea also for the first year, because we will be doing it soon, like additional event, not just for students, but for the society. So we won't force the members to form international teams. It's like, this time it's up to them. But later the idea is also to incorporate students from different study programs, just to make sure they have different skills and will be able to incorporate different knowledge, different experience into one project, and also gather the international experience. Yeah, and the last thing which we have in the study program, just before, without the collaboration opportunities, is the conversion courses, conversion possibilities. And also we have different solutions to it. For example, some of our study programs automatically is adapted to students, for example, with no ICT bachelor diploma to enter. There are some kind of a smaller requirements and so on. And in other cases, we have just additional courses which need to be followed. So we try to adapt to the students, to the needs, and to adjust it to it. So this is why in current state, we have 4 new study programs and 1 updated study program just to proceed. Yeah, what goes next, like also it's like I a little bit mentioned it when I was showing the diagram, but the biggest challenges probably which we faced regarding the study program structure was like we were choosing, should we go with very specific study program or should it be wide and flexible one? So when I was mentioning, so ideally probably we could create a one study program with a lot of specializations, and just sometimes we are losing it, just it's difficult to manage it. Also, the number of students are affecting it. So this is why one of the reasons was like, no, we should be going into linked, but not joint program. Like there should be some kind of a linking the same courses for different ones, but not exactly the same one. Another most important probably factor was the sustainability of the project, of the program, because we were thinking what will be happening after the project ends, because we are starting our study programs this September. So we will have about 2 years also in the project, and what happens next. So automatically we just wanted to make sure we will be able to add new partners, like new study programs. We won't be so tightly coupled with some universities if they will decide like, no, situation changed, we need something completely different. So this is why we also decided like it gives us flexibility if it won't be joined, but we would like to keep the links between different study programs. Also, as I mentioned, like scheduling the COIL led us to the fact like our study programs in some cases are very different. So automatically we were linking sometimes just 2 universities, sometimes it was 3 universities, and sometimes we were thinking to add additional partners. So this is why also we decided to extend the partner list and to make it flexible. And talking about financial dedication, especially for the hackathon type events, so also one of the solutions is just to integrate the hybrid events, like we can have in place event, but with some hybrid connections as well. Yeah, talking about innovation solution, it's difficult to say what's the innovation. We didn't do some kind of analysis, and what I noticed, most of the specialized projects are doing something similar, but we think like our system for student portfolio is something a little bit different that it exists currently, because basically what we do, as I was explaining, we have some kind of a tree of topics, like how one topic can be divided into smaller ones, just to understand the coverage. And how we use the tool, we are like describing the study program. So this is how we can compare study programs one with another. We automatically will be building the student portfolio of competences, so also we can compare. We can use the tool for the study program analysis, just to see, for example, how competences in some specific areas are growing. Are we just increasing it? Is it systematical? Is it, I don't know, some kind of a not systematic approach? So it gives from the administrative point of view also some benefits. And also one of the advantages, the student can monitor his or her progress, like where I am now, what I will be learning further, what are my competency portfolio. So they can see something like this. And what we started but not fully accomplished, because we are facing the challenge to gather the data, we're also linking the third dimension, like the industry needs. For example, what kind of competences are needed for which area, for which position. So the idea is also later for the students to provide, like with this set of competences, you could be working in those areas. Or for example, if you want to pretend to this position, you need to have those competences and you can get it in those courses, in those study programs. So it's something like student portfolio, but at the same time with some additional functionality. And talking about the impact, maybe it's not very accurate title, but the main idea, like at least in those pre-Baltic states and Spain, we are facing the challenge, like we need to attract students. So this is why we need to engage interested in advanced digital skills, to promote, to make sure we are visible, recognizable as a consortium, not just a study program, like what kind of benefits you can get. So for all those, like our project is not about the master study program only. So we have some activities like society edification. So we are giving some speeches for SMEs, for secondary school people, something like this. So it has different meanings also, like YouTube campaign just to explain what is different areas of advanced digital skills, just trying to motivate students to know more about advanced digital skills and enter study programs like ours. And then, as I mentioned, will be those joint events. So we will have one on the 27th of April, because also it has different purposes for the students. Like in this case, it won't be students, it will be some anyone from outside, but later it will be students, and like it gives joint, I don't know, experience developing something. It will be a platform for SMEs to present what kind of collaboration opportunities we have, what are our results, and so on. So from our point of view, it looks like interesting and connecting also different partners. Like students will be gaining from SMEs by the collaboration and so on. And also as an addition to it, like as I mentioned, like short-term courses for SMEs, employees, something like this, just to take not a diploma, but just separate courses. And what we plan to do, we also plan to give those micro credentials, like just to account it as official credits. And later, if they want, they could be joining the study programs as well. And talking about the lessons learned, yes, there are multiple of those. I just tried to select probably one of those, which was more oriented to what I was presenting here. Like in most of the tasks, because we have different ones, because we are thinking about the sustainability. So also the study program should be updated from time to time. So it means we need to keep in track with what's happening in the demand, what's happening in the new trend, something like this. So to make sure after the project, we will be able to do it as well. So we are developing some automated tools, which will be gathering data from the internet, from, I don't know, some kind of a systematic surveys from the companies, aggregated everything. So the advice which we are giving probably to all of you, like, do not be afraid to invest time in automation. Like in our case, we are using some artificial intelligence, natural language processing tools, simulation, something like this, just to create a tool which later will help you to administrate the study program, to update it, rather than investing all the time a lot of manual work. This is what we are trying to highlight in our study programs, like don't be afraid to be innovative and propose something new. And this is what we are trying to do as well in the project. Yeah, and talking about the future plans, so basically we have some study programs accredited already. Some are waiting the external accreditation, but all of us are planning to have the first admission in this September. So basically now we are more or less concentrating on the promotion of the study program, on the development of the course content, just to make sure it's also very adaptable, usable. There is some integration between different institutions, and also extending the network of partners, because as I mentioned, the network of partners is important for us, not just as a project, but also giving for the students international, more wider view on what's happening and what could be done, what will be used, needed later. Yeah, the questions probably later, so thanks.
Great. Thank you very much, Simona. Yes, please, you can place your questions in the Q&A area, and we have allocated some time towards the end of the meeting to have an open discussion. Thank you very, very much, Simona. And now we are moving to the presentations of the projects from HPC. Apologies, Katerina, I mispronounced the name of your project earlier. Katerina will present the best practices from the EUMaster4HPC and how they have handled joint accreditation. And also, I think Katerina will also mention some differences between the types of the training. We can see your screen, Katerina. You're muted.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Thank you. Don't worry, Eugenia. It's okay. So thank you very much for the invitation to share our experience from the EUMaster4HPC project. I will quickly start by giving an overview of the consortium and the master program, and then I will share the best practices toward joint diploma. Okay. So the EUMaster4HPC consortium is composed of 20 plus European projects, almost all Europe included in this project, with 7 million over 4 years to design a common European curriculum in HPC with a 2 years, 120 ACT master program. We are also implementing the master pilot program from the very beginning of the project, which is a very ambitious approach. And the main objective is to define the body of knowledge, also to produce course content, bridging together the EU HPC community. We started January 2022, so far 2 years in advance. And just to give you an overview of all the partners that we have in the consortium participating, giving input, lobbying, promoting, joint efforts for the creation, the design of the curriculum in HPC. We have 8 awarding universities, so you can, with this number, have an idea of the challenges that we face for joint diploma, but I think we came up with a good approach to go towards that. We also have 38 participant universities. We have other contributing partners from industry, supercomputing centers, SMEs, and 37 plus additional supporting partners, and adding more because people is getting interested in this project. So now I will just give you the overview of the master program. I'm going to talk about the student journey, the modular curriculum, and then a little bit about the teaching materials we are developing, and then I will move forward to the best practices. But first, I wanted to, yes?
I'm sorry, Katarina, I just want to tell you, are you moving on slides, or are you just using because we don't see any different slide, we just see the
yes, I move.
No, we're only seeing the
first one.
The first one, yes,
Okay.
I'm afraid. Yes, now we can see the rest. Now we see the consortium.
Okay, I will not go to the full view then, and then
Okay.
So did you see
now
this?
We can see the map? No, we haven't. Sorry,
Okay.
we have been seeing only the first slide all this time.
Oh,
now
okay.
we can see the map. Okay.
Okay, so I will stay like this, and then you can.
Okay.
So yes, just a recap. These all the countries that are participating. We started in January 2022, designing the Common European Curriculum in HPC, a 2-year master program in English with 120 ACTs. And we started implementing the master pilot program since September 2022. So we were very ambitious, not just to design the curriculum, but then testing it on the fly with 8 awarding universities. So this is just a figure to show all the partners that are involved in the project, awarding universities, participating universities that are watching us and also contributing to the design of the curriculum with the idea in mind of implementing this in the near future. And of course, we have supercomputing centers, industry, SME participation as well. Okay, so now before going to the best practices, I will give you an overview, high-level overview of the master program. So I will talk about the student journey and the modular curriculum mainly, and some of the teaching materials that we have been developing so far. So for this master program, the student will have 2 host universities. University A is the first one where the students will get all the HPC fundamentals. And semester 1 and semester 2, the students will be are being offered also workshops, hand-on workshops, where partners from industry, from research centers also participate. And these are being developed so far in hybrid mode, because we have students from 8 awarding universities across Europe. We have from Germany, France, University of Luxembourg, Bulgaria, KTH, Polimi. So having them on site all the time is not that possible, but we are always encouraging that. And then after the students finish the first year, we have the summer school. And this is the main event where all the students have to attend. So we will have 1 to 2 weeks summer school, for every cohort, where the students not only, take or see lectures from different stakeholders, industry research centers, as I mentioned before, but also they participate in challenges. And here we make sure we have diversity, not only from the background that they have and the countries, but also, in every way possible, which is a little bit challenging, but we wanted to stress out from the very beginning and expose the students to handle this. And then in the second year, they have the opportunity to focus on the specialization. We have 4 areas for the specialization, and they have to work on the master thesis, and then they have another chance of mobility for the internship that they can perform either at a company or at a research center. Okay, so this is the overall of the student's journey. And then this is just a very concise way of presenting the modular curriculum. This master encompasses 4 main technical areas for fundamentals: mathematics and statistics, software engineering, parallel computing, computing architecture. And then for the second year, as I mentioned before, 4 specializations plus the internship. And throughout the whole duration of the master, the students are also exposed to non-technical topics associated with transversal skills, team building, and many others. And here, I just wanted to give you an overview of the modular curriculum. We start with a variety of background for the students. We have 8 awarding universities, each one of them with their specific let's say, a specialization focus in HPC. So we offer the students these balancing modules, and then they can go to the first semester and the second semester fundamental courses. Each one of those are assigned 30 ACTs. And then they go in the third semester for the specialization. So they have to take modules, courses from 4 different areas, and then the internship at the master thesis. So this is just an overview of what we have been working. And we have been working closely with industry to get feedback of the needs from companies, the research centers, and all the partners to design this modular curriculum. At the same time, new MOOCs have been developed. We have 5 in total. They are publicly accessible in the Moodle platform, and they also integrate new teaching paradigms and models for HPC. So this is what we have been putting together so far. And now I will go over the best practices towards the joint diploma. So we haven't reached to that level. As you see on my second slide, the consortium is a huge consortium. So talking here about joint diploma, it's extremely ambitious. So we started with a cooperation on an inclusive model type of approach. So a joint initiative based on a joint master program and dual degrees agreements. So the idea was to have the possibility to include new partners along the way, open towards other institutions with educational activities as well, like industry, supercomputing centers, and also intensify the collaboration among the partners for the sustainability of the project. We started with the recognition of studies, improving the education. So we assigned partners to cover different parts of the study program. So here I can say, like, the 4 specializations, they are assigned or are coming from the universities, part of the awarding set of universities in this project. And also we assign partners with different roles and offers. So we have, for example, industry participating by offering internships to the students. We have the supercomputing centers also collaborating with the challenges for the students, where they can get hands-on activities, and all of them working together, the partners, to set up this improving in the education of the students. We try to keep the diversity and not to impose our study program. So that's why we base that on modules that has been designed with a core group that we have, including the awarding universities. And here is where the idea of dual degrees came as a solution for moving forward the joint diploma, but having something to facilitate this mobility within universities and expose the students to have the chance to go to 2 different universities, for example. And then the mapping of the courses has been one of the key tasks for setting up all these dual degrees. And also keeping in mind the joint diploma kind of final goal. It's an ongoing process. We have challenges. I mentioned it before, similar to the other 2 speakers. We have different SET systems between the 8 awarding universities. So we have to sit down, talk about how to find a common ground, define the mandatory courses. For example, we have Sorbonne University with a strong background in mathematics, for example, and they require this. We have Polimi that requires courses in quantum computing, for example. So we have to, sit down, speak, talk, and come to an agreement for these mandatory courses so the students can have the mobility path between these universities. As mentioned also before, the national laws play an important role. We have incorporating these students' internships, and it's very different for each of the 8 awarding universities, and we have to take that into account. The distribution of credits to certain fields and the joint degree creation at the EU level, as mentioned before, is, it's a political discussion, and we have some say there, but we still have to follow the process for all that and many others. So I can share with you, so far we have 30 plus agreements, as you can see from this chart, between the 8 awarding universities. So this allows the offering of the mobility path between 2 universities for the students. And still we have the blank spaces are work in progress. But this has been a huge effort, talking back and forward with the legal departments, with all the instances involved to get these cooperation agreements in place. But so far we have been succeeding. And just to end, just wanted to show you the next steps. We want to keep extending to new partners, to awarding universities, refresh the industry needs because this is key for this specific field. And then we want to be a key part of the HPC teaching environment with the academy, the HPC train, Spectra, and explore synergies with EuroCC and CASTIEL. We are already working with those last 2. And here is just a figure about the way we have been implementing our approach towards the joint diploma. We started with the partial implementation using the already existing master degrees offered by the 8 awarding universities. Then we also have creations of new local degrees, like for example, in University of Luxembourg and University of Sofia. They created this new HPC program, master program, that received students in the academic year 2023 as EUMaster4HPC students. And we move forward to the dual degrees. You saw the table before, and now we hope that all this effort will help us to move forward to the joint diploma. And with that, I end, and then we move forward to the questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katerina. Please write down your questions in the Q&A area. We're running a little late, but we're ready for Alina Melinet, who will present the best practices in the project CASTIEL 2. So, Alina, we can see your screen. We cannot now.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to turn on my micro. So you can see my screen, right?
We can.
Okay.
Not on slideshow, but but we can see.
Maybe it's better like that because if then I can.
Okay.
So I'm Aline. Thank you very much for inviting me today. As you're gonna see, we are in a very different field with our project, but as Katarina, we are in the field of HPC. So CASTIEL 2 project. Do you see my screen correctly, right? Okay, so the aim of this project is to promote interaction and exchange of expertise and competencies between the NCCs, the National Center of Competencies, and the COEs. And the overall aim is to make those people collaborate, to have knowledge exchange and skill mapping. We are not university, so we are package 3 BSc together in this project with University of Stuttgart, Sineca, Terratech, and HLRS. And so if we focus on us, we are package 3, we are in charge of training and monitoring for our network. So we have our partners, which are Sineca, Terratech, to Vienna University and Stuttgart universities, collaborating with the NCCs and the COEs. So they are National Center of Competencies. That means that in each of the 33 European countries members, we have been building. So now for the project has been going on for 5 years, 4 years. There are some national competence center in the field of HPC, and they all produce some training. We are also in our network some competence center, and they are not in the field of HPC, but they need the HPC. So it can be, for example, working on image, medical image, or any other field, but they need, so that's why they are in our network. So they produce a lot of trainings, but that is nothing to see with master degree. That it can be short courses or till 1 day, 2 days, until maybe 1 week courses. And we in Work Package 3 have provided a portal for them to publish their HPC courses, but they are very different for different audience. And they can be online or on face-to-face. So a very big amount of different courses that are proposed by the NCC and COE. So us in Work Package 3 for CASTIEL, we have been trying to design professional profiles, skills, competencies, modules, and then at the end of this work will come the certification, but we are not here for many reasons. So the work has been started in the first phase of CASTIEL. We are now in the second phase, and we are still working in these modules, but it's not finished yet. We've been looking what is existing in the field of HPC outside of us. So we have seen that companies are providing educational programs. So it can be Intel, IBM. So all them are providing also some short courses, and they sometimes have some accreditation. There are university, and we just see EUMaster4HPC and all what you have been presenting, that are delivering a master degree, which is a challenge, but at least you have the ECTS. There are online platforms that are also providing some courses, very different level, very different for many different things. And here we are, the specialist, the HPC centers, supercomputing centers, and we are also providing a lot of different courses made by all the different countries at different level for different audience, but without any accreditation. So what are the certifications? So some are very formal, as we have seen with the master degree. we have seen that the micro-credential tend to be a good solution, but is not yet working. We've seen that there are some digital badges for all what is a digital courses, and also we've seen that there are non-fungible tokens, but that's more to be sure that to be authentic on the certification. We are here. We are not. We don't know what to do with our training. Today, all we can say is that there is no existing professional certification framework at a European level. There are many different players, university, companies, learning platforms, research centers. There is no certification system, but there is a need. So what now we are working on is on a label. A label could be a solution. So what is a label versus a certification? So a certification is an official acknowledgement given to individual who has successfully completed an exam or an assessment. Label is a recognition given by an organization, an institution, to training program that meets specific criteria. So this is a work we are contemplating because there are different labels. And in Europe, we are not at the same level. So a label would fit to all our different research centers is a challenge. Also, we are wondering what do recruiters think. So we are preparing a survey in order to see what would be the label if we go for a label that, or what kind of certification would be the most welcome by the industry. So we have different groups of work, different task force, but we are not at all in the phase of having something clear and shaped in terms of accreditation. We are more in the work with modules, which is already a challenge, but not yet in accreditation, which is going to come one day, but we are not here now. So this is it for my presentation, and I'm happy to answer questions if I can.
Thank you very much, Aline. It was very interesting indeed, and it was nice seeing also another approach. We're running a little late, but please, if you have any questions for these best practices from the 4 projects that have already presented, this is the right time to ask them. I don't know if Asha or Oscar would like to ask any question or make any comment.
Thank you very much. I found it very interesting that there are so many different ways you can tackle the problem, so and avoid all the obstacles. So thank you, but I would not have any questions at the moment.
Thank you very much, Sasha. A creative approach indeed, I'd say. Oscar, any comment on your side? You're muted if you're talking, Oscar. Okay. Okay. So thank you all very, very much for today. It was very nice opening our topic group discussions and hosting also other types of projects, and also having Asa and Oscar with us. And of course, this audience that confirms that the issue of accreditation, whether it's joined or not, is very, very important, and it keeps coming steadily in the discussions around program design. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here with us today, and you will hear from us soon. Bye.